Huge news, Update 49 is officially out, where you can finally, for yourself, unlock the Desperado monkey and play with all 15 upgrades it has to offer. There's also a couple more things in this update that we'll briefly go over before jumping into it. First things first, let me give you a reminder of how to unlock the Desperado monkey. So, you need to pop 3.5 million balloons. In any game mode, good luck, have fun. Or if you don't want to go through the effort of popping that many balloons, then you can head on over to the shop where there is a brand new Desperado package that comes with an avatar, a banner, and a couple other goodies. Like one of every tier 5 insta. If you plan to use this, well, they say to use code ISAB in the shop. And by they, I mean ISAB's bank account. Rogue Legends is also on sale for a limited time if you want to pick that up. Next up, trophy items. What is new? Only a couple things. We got cowboy hat balloons, we've got a Tinker Fairy avatar, as well as an enchanted glade banner. There's some new quests as well if you want to pick up some quick rewards. They have a Tale of Desperado, so you can figure out how to use Desperado. A one hero solution, which is very akin to how Rogue Legends works. In case you missed it, Sunset Gulch is the newest advanced map in this update, but I'm not going to play it here. I just want to show you actually in the menu here, over in accessibility, there's a new tower placement snapping option, which is really cool. Basically, to solve the issue of, say, wanting to place something as far left or far right as possible, or fit towers close together, tower snapping means so when you hover over red, it'll stay in the last spot where it was able to place. So if you click it once, it'll snap back there, click it twice, and it drops. How amazing is this feature? This will revolutionize the amount of bad boys we can fit into one small space. So you'll probably see me using this feature a lot. However, I think it's kind of bugged sometimes. Sometimes I try to snap it, but it doesn't let me place it. Let me know if anyone else experiences this too. So now on to End of the Road, where we are going to take a deep dive into the top path for this video. It's the cheapest of the bunch, starting at Quick Draw at tier 1, and then going all the way to the Blazing Sun at tier 5. They say Desperado shoots so fast, then revolvers catch light. It is a fairly cheap tier 5 at only 18.9k on hard mode, so just keep that in mind so you can temper your expectations for in terms of the strength of this monkey compared to other tier 5s. You might have to compare it to others at that price point, as like I said originally, I think this is basically like an elite defender. Anyway, just a refresher for the top path abilities, the Quick Draw makes the Desperado shoot faster when balloons are further, and it loses it when it is close. And then Standoff makes it so that it'll attack faster when there's few balloons in radius. I did some light testing here, and it turns out that Quick Draw is a really good upgrade. On some of the upgrades, I am told that, like, it says if it loses the taxi bonus, and sometimes it can go down to 0, as in no benefit at all, like, say, Wanderer, for example. This Crosspath, if I drop 3 monkeys, will not give me any benefit. However, for the Quick Draw, I can see that even though balloons are extremely close to the Quick Draw that I have here, it still has a damage increase over the 000, approximately 20%. So that was kind of wild to me. We are starting to leak some Mana Shield live, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the Big Iron now. It basically changes it from shooting 1 damage in a 2-shot burst to a 6-shot burst of 2 damage, aka 12 damage at a time. Pretty good for its price, I would say. Now, there's been a lot of talk already on the crosspathing of this thing, which is the best crosspath for the top, middle, and bottom. Well, for the top, I can tell you it's situational. Honestly, I would say for all paths, it's situational. So there's not necessarily a right or wrong, it depends on the situation. Because listen, I read comments, alright? And I know when I went for the 502 in the first ep, some were saying that was the wrong crosspath. You should go for the bullseye for more crits. Which, of course, that makes sense, right? Not to mention the camo that it gives. Bullseye will give you a good chance to crit when balloons are pretty far. And where I have it placed right now, the balloons will generally be a decent distance away. Now, perhaps there's no better way to settle this than with a duel between each of the crosspaths. So I've set up a sandbox here, a 320 versus a 302. Note that I had to buy an MIV for this test to really work out. So this only has 2 stacks, and it's not even benefiting from Nomad right now, which, as you see, attacks faster when there's more balloons in range, but there's only 1 of them in range right now. And so, that is why the 320 wins out. 1292 to 1160. But okay, how about another test then? Let's add a Balloon Crush with a test mob. I sent 3 of them to be exact here. And so now we can get rid of the Mib and get a pure 3x attack speed stack buff. And if you compare it with the Bullseye here, you can see damage is identical. But that's not taking into account that Nomad has another ability that gains you cash, range, and attack speed when you lose lives. So if you're playing a non-chimps mode, then I think the 302 can win out. What do you say? Now, I know I had all that talk only to actually end up giving it a buy 320 anyway. But that's because well, in a showcase, I want to be able to buff this guy a little bit more, you know what I mean? Also, here's Exhibit A of why this guy is basically like a glorified sniper. Take a look at round 27 here. It will struggle against this round badly, so much so that I think we lose. Straight up. Well, that's pretty cooked. I think all we need is for the Alchemist to be a DPS Alchemist, so yes. Put it on the track, and that 100 damage actually comes in really, really, really clutch. Now, I did end up picking Azili for this run for the intention that I was going to do 302, but I changed my mind because not that it's the better crosspath per se, it just is for, I would say, this situation. Because getting a village and outbuff around it already loses you 2 of the 3 stacks, and I'll probably get 1 more at some point, especially since both of these upgrades end up giving more range to it. Down at 22 lives, but we will get twin 6s this round, alright? Or are we not, actually? Never mind. Okay, I lied. We cannot save up for twin 6s. I gotta sell. We're not in chimps mode for that very reason. But come on. Twin 6s to save today? It doesn't even save today. Okay, that's not what you want to see in a $6,000 terror, but okay. If you start the round with it, we're better, right? Well, minus lead popping. In which case, oh god. And I see this being a pretty big issue. We survived all the leads, but I noticed that when the Alchemist gives his aim debuff, each of the 6 shots that the Desperado uses is, well, used up. So that means within 2 cycles, the 10 shots that it's allotted to give lead popping immediately goes away. I mean, that's how it should work. But that means if you outbuff the top path Desperado, then the uptime isn't really that long on it. It's pretty pitiful, that being said. Here's our mob damage, though. We know it's good. Single target is the name of the game with this guy. Now, this is where I need you guys to bear with me and use some critical thinking skills as for why primary training is not that great on the top path Desperado. I know I missed out on it in early access. You gotta keep in mind that it's not always worth going for this upgrade, even if the monkey is primary, because what the primary training does is it gives range, pierce, and projectile speed. One of those 3, which is, or 2 of those 3 actually, which are completely useless on Desperado. This thing already has 1 pierce, because like a sniper, it'll only be able to shoot 1 target with its revolver shots. And projectile speed, let me ask ya, what projectile? So really, all we're spending is on 865 for range. Do you think this guy needs range? I'll let y'all be the answer to that. Anyway, looks like we're gonna die on round 49. A little bit short of the tier 5. Can I just say what impeccable timing it is that both times I need the upgrade, I can just sell my village for it. So here we go. Blazing Sun right, nice and early, because the twin 6s somehow couldn't survive. And wait a minute. We're gonna die to round 49 here. Okay, no he didn't. No he didn't. But good god. Let that be a lesson to you all. Do not solo with this guy. It isn't worth it. Maybe now that we have a lull in all the balloons here. Back on strong, but back in first now. Does it have the attack speed to clutch up? No. Yeah, who would win here, guys? 300 green balloons around 49 or 1 tier 5 monkey, Wild West monkey? Okay, so also to note, the Blazing Sun does not pop lead balloons. You heard those clanks? We still need to get an Alchemist for, or rather just an MIB, or Permbrew if we're already there. These rounds should be no issue, because if the balloon has 15 or less HP, it's gonna one-shot it. So Desperado would therefore handle 5 ceramics better than 500 red balloons. Just like a sniper. Sorry, I can't help but keep making that comparison. Now, not to tease you and all, but there is a thing with the, oh, I'm gonna die. My bad. The perfect balloon shots end up being ruined because I think Azili got in the way, so we gotta put, I guess, Desperado back in first if we're gonna, quote-unquote, solo with this guy. As I was saying, group rounds are going to be an issue, and there's nothing we can do about it. If we didn't die last round, this round probably would have gotten us anyway, right? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna clutch up, I think. Okay, we definitely would have died with the original lives, but yeah. I was gonna say that there's something devastating about this upgrade that you need to know, but you have to stay tuned for just a little bit longer to find out what that is if you don't know already. Let's get some support now, though. And something I also didn't mention, but you can probably see right now, is the fact that, well, this guy can light balloons on fire. I'm just gonna get the mid because the pre-brew is a lot to save up for. We're also not going to get any income generation in this run, in case that wasn't clear already. But the thing is, every shot does not spawn out fire. It's a pretty low chance, actually. We're still looking at 64 here, but only after the F-modes came in does the fire take into effect. And I can tell you that that fire DOT is 50. 50 damage over time for 4 seconds for a total of 200. Not too shabby, but it's kind of interesting that it's not all the time. The blazing sun only chooses to blaze when it feels like it, I guess. It should also be noted that whenever Desperado does light something on fire, it does so in an AoE effect. So that's why you see multiple BFBs and mobs like get lit on fire at the same time, when it only technically activated, I think, once. The only part of the monkey where I guess it can hit more than one balloon at once. Believe it or not, but it was actually better this round to sell the Alchemist, otherwise it was going to create a nasty Riga farm. And hell, on that note, probably worth it to sell Azili as well, but nah, I'm just gonna use Heartstopper instead. And that should do, I think, right? That's a lot of balloons that just re-good back, but we're good now, finally. I don't know, maybe it's better to leave this guy alone after all. Anyway, it should come as no surprise that the ZMG damage is really, really, really good. Can beat it before the first bend comes around, and with the fire, get some nice, I guess, area effect damage, so even though it didn't directly target those BFBs, it got popped all the way thanks to the napalm/fire effect. Very good. But I fully expect this tower to slow down soon, because surely it won't be able to keep up with the density of these rounds here. Like 81, for example, here is extremely tight, and it's only beatable because of the Relentless Stun. And I assume now at this point, it doesn't have the ability to one-shot ceramics, because the ceramics have like 60 HP, so that would mean like 4 shots that Desperado needs to shoot before beating 1. Well, now we can buy back our Stroker Stim and turn it into P-Bro, so now we don't have to worry about the limited shots that this guy has. That's a permanent +2 damage along with a decent amount of attack speed, so should start to see things be a little bit better. And if it's still struggling, then, you know what? Let's just use the help of Azili. I just realized that it's a really good combo. You can use Azili to beat, or to delete all the insides, which the Desperado has a big issue dealing with. So I'd say they complement each other pretty well, even if you can't use the life leaking / nomad mechanic. This would save a lot of shots that would otherwise be required to beat all these insides here. Like, see how long it takes to beat one ZMG here? But instead, if I just simply Hex, then just like that, 1, 2, and 3 are all gone. So you might not be the only one that's realizing that even after all these buffs given to Desperado, it's still only maxing out at a pitiful 1-2,000 DPS. Again, single target isn't what it's meant to be used for, but I'm just talking about overall. Really feels like even if it was single target, we should be getting more than that, right? And also, I'm dead here? Or not. Barely clutched it with the help of Hex. I have now decided that I need more stalls, though, so how about a Sabo and a Snowstorm? Okay, this round's gonna be an absolute nightmare. Let's Sabo immediately. Set this guy in strong, and just, I guess, don't care about the regrow purples. Just hope the Ice Tower gets it on the way eventually. How about a Totem, too? Why not? I feel like we're definitely cooked here, though. Gonna try to save my Snowstorm for if anything gets through, but actually, I lied. Snowstorm's doing a really good job of keeping everything in place. I think it's exactly what we needed, to keep enough Cerams alive so that we can prioritize the blips first. And then all the insides later. Okay, we gotta do our best to leave as little insides on this round as possible, otherwise I know it's gonna take absolute years. Already messed up. I popped a balloon before I hexed it. Oops. But come on, we just have to hope Hex gets enough of the BFBs to start off with. Eh, probably got like 3 of them. That's not very good. We got Hex back up again, so let's blow it. Come on. Overclock, Azili Totem, Perm Brew. How many more buffs do I need here? I know I didn't call the arms, but this is still a hefty amount of power. All FPVs finally down. And finally, that round took years. It would have taken even longer, but we were able to beat everything inside with Hex. Nice. So now for the ultimate test on the Blazing Sun. How good is its single target against a BAD at the max attack speed that we were being given? So Totem, oh, it ran out. We'll wait again. Or maybe not. I'll just keep it with these 3 buffs with Overclock. Take a look. That is 300 per second. We got Totem again in time, but that's gonna mostly just help with the range. Oh, right. Speaking of range, I guess I could buy a little bit extra time with a P Mentor here. Oh, and also, I forgot. Maybe the Blazing Sun didn't look so great because we didn't use the help of the middle path support Desperado. That would have been really useful for it. So for one, we'll give it range. But even then, I don't know about you, but this is an awfully long time for a single target tier 5 to take to beat down a single target Bloon. What do you say about that? Not to mention, I probably got some help with the Zelia. But this ain't gonna do it. Because I didn't do it yet, I figure it's probably worth it to like at least drop a bounty hunter. So this is not the main showcase, but just a quick TLDR. This will mark Bloons to make other Desperados do more damage to it. And let's see how much of a difference that makes, along with the P training, I guess. That's all. But here we go. There's no mark that's visible, but you can see now that the DPS is a lot more than 300. Turns out marking the Bloons is really important. And once again, before it gets out of range, Totem, and this for an absolutely massive, monstrous range. And there we go. That popped twice as fast. Okay, note to self, when using Desperado, the best support for Desperado is Desperado himself. Gotcha. Anyway, we can probably go further, but I think it's safe to say at this point that it's gonna continue to be a struggle. You can't keep running with a sub 20k upgrade forever and ever. And that's why I'm gonna jump over into Sandbox now, where I'm gonna show you some discovery that is kind of perplexing to me. It makes sense on how the game works, but this absolutely sucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna 10x Ultra Boost the Desperado. Normally, this should give 1.67 attack speed buff with the 1 overclock, and then with 10 stacks, the same attack speed buff. So in total, almost 2.5 times the attack speed. So if it works how everything else works out, then this 420 should be about 2.5 times higher than the non-Ultra Boosted tower, right? Well, let's take a look. 1465 damage on the 10x Ultra Boost, 1020. That's only 1.4 to 1.5 times damage. So why is this the case? Well, think about how the Desperado attacks. Top half. It's a long burst of, I guess I would say, a dozen shots, and then a small delay, and then it shoots the 12 burst again. However, I believe how attack speed works on it is that it doesn't decrease the delay during that 12-shot burst, only the delay between the 12-shot bursts, like each 12-shot burst. So for example, we give multiple attack speed bonuses, Homeland and all that, but take a look. It's still shooting at the same, like, 12 burst rate, just the delay is, like, almost non-existent because of those extra attack speed buffs. So that's why it looks a lot smoother. This number is going up at a constant rate, but it's not going up any faster between those bursts. So if this is intentional, then this is an absolute killer for this tower in terms of it being viable at all in any late game scenario. If attack speed buffs are not worth it on a tower, then it's pretty cooked, I would say, because there's so many good attack speed buff upgrades that it's just gonna get lost in the sauce, especially if it's not even that strong as a base upgrade, unbuffed. With all that being said now, let me know your thoughts on the Blazing Sun. Although I guess I might have influenced your opinion just now. All I can say is that there is no crosspathing that can save the fact that this guy does not receive attack speed buffs well. That is all. As always, thank you for watching till the end. Make sure to subscribe to catch more Desperado.